Hello everyone, I'm going to go over balancing equations. This is the worksheet. Now today during class we went over this all together. The first thing you want to do is you want to put everything that you see in this equation straight down this line here, okay? What we're doing is we're balancing all of the atoms on this side of the equation and making sure that they equal this side of the equation. Okay, so let me just get rid of this. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, and this is step, it makes it a lot easier, you want to write down each of the elements. So it's easier to start with the metal first, and you can use your periodic table to see what is a metal and which one is not a metal. So I'm going to go iron, and then we have chlorine. And what I do is I just put a dash on either side. So first we're going to count up all the atoms on the left side of this arrow. So I have 1 iron. Remember, there's a little 1 here, but we don't write it. And I have 2 chlorines. On this side, I have 1 iron. Remember, there's a little 1 right here. And I have 3 chlorines. So we take a look first at the metal. We can see that we're balanced on either side here. Okay. Here, though, we have 2 on this side and 3 on this side. So what we're going to do, okay, we're going to tackle the odd number, okay, and make that even. Makes it a lot easier to balance. So if I put a 2 here, what that does is that 2 multiplies the iron. Okay, so 2 times 1, that gives me 2. 2 times the chlorine, okay, so that's going to give me 6. Now, my irons are off now. So I need to have 2 irons right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 2 here, and that gives me 2 irons. That 2 is going to multiply the 1, and now I have 2. Now I need a number right here, okay, so that I can have 6 chlorines. I already have a 2 here, so I need to put a number here that it's going to multiply to 6, and that's going to be 3. 3 times 2 gives me 6 chlorines. Right, and you can see that I have 2 irons on this side and 2 irons on that side, and I have 6 and 6, so I'm done now. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we're going to line up our elements, F and Fe, and then O, oxygen. So iron's a metal, oxygen is a non-metal. All right, I have 1 on this side, I have 2 oxygens on this side, I have 2 on this side, and I have 3 on this side. Okay, so we are not balanced here. So I need to have 2 irons here. Okay, so I need to put a 2 here, so it's going to be 2 multiplying the 1. It gives me 2. And again, I have a 2 and a 3. So I'm going to go to this side of the arrow because I have an odd number here, and I'm going to make that even by putting a 2 here. So if I put a 2 here, the 2 multiplying the 3 gives me 6, but that 2 is also going to multiply the iron. So 2 times 2 is 4. And what that means is now this side is not balanced. So I'm going to even up the iron. So 2 is not going to work anymore. Okay, so I'm going to take away that 2. In order to get 4 irons, I need to put a 4 here. And by putting a 4 there, now I have 4 irons. And what's left is the oxygen. So since I have 6, I need a number here that we're going to put so I can multiply the 2 to get 6, which is going to be 3. And then I have a 6 there and a 6 here. Now everything is balanced. And that's it. Okay, let's take a look at the next one here. Now this one's pretty hard. Okay, now I wouldn't put like a really hard one like this up, but I'm going to go through it with you. So you first want to take the metals, okay, so I see I got a metal here, Fe, And then it doesn't matter after that, but save oxygen and hydrogen for the last. If you start trying to balancing oxygen and hydrogen, you're going to get these really big numbers. It's going to be super frustrating, and I would give up too. So we're going to do sulfur, we have bromine, and then we have oxygen and hydrogen. So this is a pretty big question. And again, I probably wouldn't put this on the exam or a test, but it's good to work through it. All right, so we have 1 iron on this side. We have 3 bromines. We have 2 hydrogen. We have 1 sulfur, and we have 4 oxygen. Okay, let's look at this side here. Okay, so we have 2 iron. Now our sulfur is in these brackets. So that 3 there is going to multiply that 1 that's inside the bracket. So that's 3 times 1. So that's 3. And then this 3 is going to multiply the 4 for the oxygen. 3 times 4 is 12. I have 1 hydrogen and 1 bromine. Okay, so now I'm going to try and balance this. I'm going to start at the top with my irons. All right, so I have 2 here, so I need to have 2 on this side. So I'm going to put a 2, and that's going to multiply the iron, and that's going to make a 2 iron, but that's also going to multiply the bromine. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so let's go down to the next one. So sulfur, okay, so I have 3 on this side, but I don't have 3 on this side. So I'm going to put a 3 here. And that's going to multiply the sulfur, so I'm going to have 3. But it's also going to multiply the hydrogen, so now I have 6. And that 3 is going to multiply the oxygen, so now I'm going to have 12. All right, so our irons are balanced, our sulfurs are balanced, but our bromines are not balanced. Okay, I need to have 6. And I only have 1 here, so that means I have to put a 6 out front. And that number is going to multiply to the hydrogen and the bromine. So now I have 6, and that means I also have 6 hydrogen. And I'm completely balanced now. So always leave oxygen second last and then hydrogen the very last, because sometimes once you've figured out the other nonmetals or the metals, it kind of evens out for you, which is pretty nice. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next one. Now you can pause it if you want to write that down. Okay, so the next one here, these are all nonmetals, but remember, keep oxygen and hydrogen last. So we're going to write them out. C, O, and H. And we're going to count up the left side of the arrow. So I have 4 here. I have 6 hydrogen plus 2 hydrogen, so I have 8. And I have 3 plus 1 oxygen, which means I have 4. On this side, I have 2, 2, and 4 hydrogen. All right, so let's look at this carbon here. So I have 4 here, and I only have 2 on the right side. So I need that to be a 4. So if I put a 2 here, this 2 is going to multiply the carbon, and I'm going to get 4. The 2 is also going to multiply the hydrogen, so I'm going to get 8 now. And the 2 is going to multiply the oxygen, so I'm going to get 4. And look at that, only 1 step, and we're balanced. Now, just because there are blanks here doesn't mean you have to put a number there, okay? Sometimes you might only need 1 number, and that's okay. So it's whatever it needs to be equal. All right, let's take a look at the next one. We're going to do the same thing. These look like they're all nonmetals, so we're going to do carbon, oxygen, and then hydrogen. We're going to count up the left side, so I have 2, 4, and 2. Okay, so you remember those little numbers. On this side, I have 1. I have 2 oxygens here and 1 right here. So I have 3, and I have 2 hydrogens. Okay, so we got to balance our carbons first. So I have 2 on this side, 1 on this side. So I need 2 carbons. So it's going to multiply the C. Now it's going to multiply the O. So I now have 4. But the problem is I have this guy right here. So I actually have 5. I don't have 4. So I have 5 oxygens. Okay, so now we're going to look down here. We got 2 and we got a 5. All right, so there's no number I can put here that this 2 is going to multiply to 5. Okay, it's not going to happen. So we have to figure out what we're going to do over here. Now, if I put a 2 here, okay, I know I can balance my hydrogen. 2 times 2, that's going to give me 4, and I'm good with my hydrogen. If I multiply this by 2, okay, I'm going to get 2 oxygens here, and I already have 4 here, so that means I have 6 now. So 2 times 2 is 4. This 2 times here is 2. 4 plus 2 gives me 6. Okay, so this is happy, but we're still not very balanced here. What number could we put here that we can multiply by 2 so that we can get 6 oxygens? That number is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and that's it. Now we're balanced completely. Okay, so we have one more, and this one's a little tricky, but we're going to work through it together. Okay, so we have non-metals here, so again, we're going to go carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Okay, we're going to count up the left side of the arrow. 4, I got 2, and 1 is 3, and I have 10. Okay, so now we have to do this side. So I have 1 carbon, I have 3 oxygen, and I have 2 hydrogen. So I have 2 oxygen here and 1 here, so that makes 3. Okay, so my carbon's not good. I got 4 on this side, 1 on here. So that means since I have 1 here, I need to put 4, okay, in front so that I can have 4 carbons. So 4 times the 1, but then it's the 4 times the 2 too. So that's going to be 8 plus that 1 gives me 9. All right, so I need a number here that's going to multiply to 8 because we're going to add 1. All right, and that's going to give us 9. So if I put a 4 here, 4 times 2 is 8, plus this 1 here, that gives me 9. And now they are balanced. But the hydrogen is way, way off. I got 10 and 2. Okay, so I need this hydrogen, okay, to be 10. So since I have 2 here, I need a number that's going to multiply this 2 to 10, and that's going to be 5. So it's going to multiply the hydrogen. I'm going to get 10. But now this 5 also multiplies the oxygen. So I have 5 oxygen plus this 8 oxygen, because 4 times 2 is 8. So 8 plus 5 is 13. Okay, so my oxygen is in balance. Okay, so this number no longer works, so I'm going to erase it. Okay, so it no longer works. So I need a number, okay, that's going to multiply this 2, so I can get close to 13. Okay, and remember, we're just going to be adding 1 to it. So the closest number, if I multiply 6 by 2, I get 12, okay, which is close to 13. And then I'm going to add 1, and that's going to give me 13 oxygen. So that is how this worksheet works. What I would like you to do is to fill it out and just send it to me so I know that you've tried these. Tomorrow we are going to be working more on this, okay? If you have any questions, don't hesitate to meet me, okay, Friday morning or in the afternoon. All right, good luck, guys.